Warning: the following contains content intended for older audiences and may contain strong language. Viewer discretion is advised.
Good evening and welcome to another provocative episode of Taboo Talks, the place to be for the free-flowing conversation and beverages. As always, we're here to be open and frank about the topics that people aren't usually comfortable with. Though our show's name implies out-of-the-box discussions, our real goal is to air out all of the built-up dust swept under that rug to create a fresh atmosphere, promoting expansive talk and thought. I'm your host, Drea Renault, and I'm ready to get on with this spring cleaning. I don't think anyone will disagree with me when I say that gossiping and politicking are the two national pastimes of Belize. Nobody can disagree. Right. And when you merge those two pastimes together, well, it makes for a storm of drama, devastating reputations, relationships, and careers in its wake. So this evening, we're talking about gossip and political propaganda. We're all familiar with the saying, if da no so, da how?
Nearly so.
Yeah. And Cruffy really believed this to be true. So tonight, we question, what are the impacts of this national pastime of gossiping? How is it used for political influence? Do we care about the pain and devastation it causes people? Or is it just entertainment? Is there a positive side to our tea spilling? Luckily, to help me, I have 4 outspoken guests joining me tonight to delve into this juicy, juicy topic. Good evening, and please introduce yourselves.
Good evening. My name is Paul Lopez, and I'm actually a professional gossiper. Just kidding. My work actually involves a lot of facts, research, and stuff like that. I'm a news reporter, journalist, and it's awesome to be on this show this evening.
Hi, I'm Janella Fraser, your past Miss Universe Belize and Miss Costa Maya Belize 2018. Also, your current CARICOM Female Youth Ambassador, and actually they gossip about me, but that's okay. I'm ready to share my opinions.
And I'm Shane Williams, certainly not shy about sharing my opinion. And I'm glad to be on Taboo Talks, where the wine is always pouring and the conversation will keep going.
All right.
I'm Demi Williams. I'm a graphic designer, but outside of that, I think I'm an open packet.
You are.
You know me.
I do.
And I'm glad to be here.
Thank you guys for being here. So, I want to start off the conversation with a very important question. Mm-hmm. What are your thoughts on this culture that we Belizeans very much, it's been ingrained in us? If da no so, da niele so. Where do you think that saying come from?
Oh, very, very good question.
I mean, firstly, it's not isolated. I mean, gossip is everywhere. Mm-hmm. But if you look at our history and our founders, we never really stand a chance in escaping gossip. I mean, if anybody who's watched Bridgerton, Whistle Down, come on.
Right.
Their entire English society was built off of gossip.
Right.
They set up shop over the Caribbean. Mm-hmm. And now you have like how many CARICOM states all skilled in gossiping?
Right.
Like we never stand a chance.
Right.
Yeah. So it's up to you as the person at that point to pick out what could be factual, what might be a half-truth. Mm-hmm. It's subjective at that point.
Yeah, I think as human beings, we have this insatiable desire to be in the know.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
We want to know what they happen, even with neighbor. We not comfortable or satisfied with knowing what's happening in our own home alone. Mm-hmm. So we know what they happening in our home, but that's not enough. We have to know what happened to the neighbor, and we have to know what happening in the community. And that almost like it come from a good place in terms of interest. You're interested in what's happening around you.
Right.
But at the same time, you take it and you make it into a negative. That interest turns into a negative, I think.
Yeah, because I was going to ask, is it an interest or is it because you want to know so it could be better? or you want to know just because you want fast, you know.
That one.
Because you have control issues. So you need to know what's going on and you want to try control the narrative.
Right.
Isn't that what gossiping almost always turns into? How parties end up going back and forth?
Imagine life without gossip. It would be a boring world we would live in.
Is it boring? Because I go to sleep every night. Amazing.
Without gossip?
Listen.
I know you slept better last night after watching all the gossip on Facebook.
Did I? Did I though?
Okay, all right. Actually, now tell me what happened last night, because I am in the dark.
Yeah, I'm kind of in the dark too, so I
What
could learn
happened?
some stuff of what happened.
You want to take this one?
I'm scared because, you know,
Let's
much
gossip
of
right
it
now.
you
Let's
say?
gossip right now. What happened
how
last
much
night?
do you say and is it factual? Because we are also
come on
viewers
now,
and we don't
come
know the
on
truth.
now.
Exactly.
Right?
Goes to the point.
Right.
I think it's important to start by saying, I don't know if that's true, but
But
this
this
is what
is
it
what I
said.
heard.
Disclaimer. This is what TikTok said this morning when I got it. Right? Apparently, somebody got for their private. It wasn't. I don't think their Instagram was private.
No, it wasn't. I don't think it was.
And even if
private.
it's private, if you have over 2,000 followers, it's not private anymore.
I think she said 7,000 followers.
I stand corrected. 7,000 followers.
Fact checking one time.
That's almost the population of Belize City.
Right.
wow.
You have on your Instagram. So
Right.
that's not private no more.
Right.
So somebody decided to use their Instagram stories as porn. That violates community guidelines. That's not a question of what you believe is right or wrong or morality. If you read the guidelines, terms and conditions,
Right.
don't put your naked body on your stories.
Right.
Period.
Okay.
So what do you think ended up to happen in our lovely society?
Yeah.
Homegirl got screen recorded. These screen recordings started going around, eventually got to her family, and it became an issue for her.
Was it a private story or was it like a...
It was
No,
a
it
close
wasn't
friends.
private.
It was a
it
close friends.
As private as you get on.
No, she just said, I post it to my stories. That's what she
Right.
said.
She did say that.
You know, that's not paraphrasing. That's literally what she said when she
Right.
got live. So you posted on your stories and people ran with it. What did you think was going to happen? What was your expectation of society, the one that we currently live in at that? So now it turned into other people want to chime in and give their commentary. And you're getting upset when people comment on the situation. But again, everybody wants something to say. So it spiraled into DJs versus DJs and DJs versus other women viewers and the comment section on a live of 4,000 people.
Right.
You didn't get 4,000 viewers, mind you, right, Paul?
I was like, I get 10.
And it was, at some point, I looked at it and I said, you know what? I have most about 3 surviving brain cells after I gone through childhood trauma.
Right.
I don't got time for waste the last 3 on this.
Yeah.
The whole Tanga situation took me out. I don't got the time. But then everybody got that kind of self-preservation and self-control for it, you know, like maybe I should have backed down.
Right.
But it shows how fickle our society actually is. And really and truly, where could even do it that at that
Right.
point? How could you even try to even make people know maybe mind your business?
So you think that situation where like one of her friends, you know, her close friends, if it was a close friends,
They're almost always your friend.
right?
Yeah.
So I have this question for you because I noticed you're saying she, so this is a girl,
It's a girl,
Right.
right?
It's a woman.
And there is a stereotype, right? That goes as such that women are the bigger gossips.
You know,
You believe that?
I before I answer that, because I never
I
did not get my women's
I don't know what
case.
my answer.
Because but what the situation last night showed me goes back to us weaponizing information.
Right.
Because there's an alternative response. There is an alternative response where people ask right now where the women empowerment movement there.
Absolutely.
People
Where
ask
is women
where
empowerment period?
where the encouragement there for her, where the support there for her, why women have to use this video, use this information as a weapon for kind of attack and for kind of discredit and for kind of insult her in that way.
So I'll play devil's advocate.
I like this.
Right? Because you said where is the women
Women
support,
empowerment, yeah.
right? But do we support people who consciously put their information or videos of themselves doing things that they know you will be criticized, you will be gossiped about? How do we support you in that manner if you know that society is waiting for another opportunity to judge you, ridicule you, and demean you?
I mean, there's a counter perspective to that. And I once got attacked on Facebook by a movement because I made a post talking about, you know, you want people to respect you, but you need to give people something to respect. And I think that women on social media, especially, they have a tendency to hypersexualize themselves.
Right.
I personally don't agree with it. It's not how I was raised. I wasn't raised conservative, but my family believed that we try to raise her to be one lady.
Right.
If anybody goes straight away from that, I was making them know that my mom tried best. So we live in this hypersexual society, and there are consequences to that. I was simply pointing out the consequences, and it was actually a man who came to me and said that what I'm posting was harmful.
Right.
That is how how these women express their identity, and a part of their identity is their sexual identity. And I said, you know what? I threw up my little white flag because one, I made a statement, and once I said something, me no care what you have to say after that. Me not have to argue upon my own
said what I
post.
said.
Said what I said. So then I like, all right, bet, that's your view, that's cool. So that's a counter perspective to that, and if I'm not mistaken, that's probably her perspective on it as well.
So you're saying if you put it out there, you should expect
Whatever
people.
comes.
You should expect. I mean, look
Okay.
at Kim Kardashian. She had a sex tape that leaked. Now, her whole family are billionaires.
Right? You own it?
Right? You own it.
Own it.
How you flip it after that, how you deal with this information going viral publicly speaks a lot more about your character.
Right.
Because, you know, like, you never say Chris, Kim, Chloe, and any to get by any. I mean, at the time, lives never exist, but they never made they try to control the narrative after that. It must simply say, all right, my database is out there. let me copyright it. Let me see how I can profit off of it. There's probably no way home scale it come and profit off of it.
Right.
But in my perspective, the less you tell upon a situation, the better. Because you to feed into the fire at that point.
Right.
You to throw kerosene. You want this become a more bigger problem than it already was for you. If you're really interested in just the hold on to whatever dignity you believe you have and call it that, then you wouldn't feed into it.
Right.
So there's another flip side to gossiping is who are the enablers when you are being gossiped off and you also become an enabler of the situation, and then you invite even more people, specifically 4,000 people, to come into that conversation.
To talk about the crack and the...
Yeah.
And they beat.
Yeah, and to go back to
male part.
your original question,
Yeah.
if women are more inclined to
Right,
gossip than
that
men,
question.
I think women gossip more openly. Like with those live yesterday, all over Facebook, women will come in.
Yeah.
But in the group chats, the private group chats, all the man they ask, what happened? What happened for the live? Man, they share.
Well, yeah, I guess that the overt and the
we
covert
started by the group
perspective
chats
on it.
there because I start in all of the group chats them all the time. Continue.
Yeah.
So-
Because I'm one of those girls that I'm a lady but my nipples are out.
Yeah.
And
And I'm still a lady.
And I have a friend, an older gentleman. He hates social media. He doesn't have any account, any Facebook, Instagram.
Must
but
be nice.
if there's a gossip out, like
knows.
if there's something out, he come. We can see.
Yeah.
You know, so men gossip just as much as women, but women are more bold and out with
They're
it.
open about it.
We're more honest
Right.
about it. Because
want to
some
know the
of
information.
if I had to look at some of the highlight dramas of my lifetime, one man me almost always involved. Case in point, last night, one man decided that he may want intervene, whether or not he believed he may to defend his significant other. Society says, I mean, not because Will gone hamper and Chris Rock means that you said like that we are free for all, but our society dictates that they think that stay with a woman from. He made himself complicit
Right.
in all of it,
Yeah.
as men tend to do. However, because one that believes women outnumber men. Let's get it right. In our check the census, we have more women than men. We live in a matriarchal society mostly, so ono forget well with it. Meanwhile, we can't.
I think you could also look at social media and how social media has made gossip so explosive. And we were talking about social media right now, but like you said, when you look back, the generation past never had social media, so it would have be what kind of street gossip,
Oh,
street
newsletter,
by the way
newsletter, yeah.
conversations.
And-
You hear what happened to Miss
Right, right.
something man, I see with another woman down the street, and that's how you know. But now, it's the information is
almost
coming at you at
confirmed,
such a
yeah.
fast pace confirmed or unconfirmed. Like you say, if that not so, that nearly so. But I said I want post this, I said I want share this, and let's begin to run with things.
But you know what's interesting? You said something back in the days where gossip spread with the older people. That was also the reason for discipline, where you know, walk down the street and the old lady see your girlfriend and go run, go tell. By the time you get home, then they lash you because you need to be in order. So maybe there is a positive to gossip, but we choose the negative part.
No, I mean,
it goes back to him talking about weaponizing, right?
Right.
So if you really think about it, you were saying that we live in a patriarchal society. I really think that women can take gossip or words and weaponize it because maybe that is where we can find our power, as opposed to men that might have a little more tangible power than we do, right? However, that locker room talk,
it gets a little dirty.
Listen, too dirty. Like, too dirty. And we all find ourselves in situations where we are gossiping, or that where we're spreading a rumor. We might not know if that's so, but hey.
Right.
Yeah. Right? So I have a question for you, because we've all been in this situation, right? If you found out right now that somebody is spreading a rumor about you, right? Whether it's true or not, but it's a very, let's say, heavy topic or heavy rumor, what would you do? Would you confront them?
Yes.
Or would you handle it differently?
Nah, you got something for say, tell me to my face.
I think
I will happy in inbox. Hey, can take a call? Let's talk. Don't come behind and I don't come from no fake profile. You got something to say about me? Let's have a conversation.
Right.
And no need to get to the point where I come at you bombastically.
Right.
But let's talk. Because since you know more about me than me, kindly inform me who I am today.
Right.
I don't want to walk around to be somebody else.
Okay.
That depends on a couple of things for me. If the rumor is just about me, I don't confront the individual because I don't care what you say about me. But if the rumor involves me and somebody else and other people are affected, then I will address the situation. Also, depends on who is spreading the rumor. If it's somebody with no credibility, then why waste time and give that person a platform? So there are several things that I take into consideration, especially because I ran for city council last time, and there were a lot of rumors spread about me. Some on national television that were really hurtful, about me being abusive to women and things like that, which no other person could ever say about me. But I know that my friends know that is nonsense.
The people that matter to you,
the people that matter to me. So I refuse to confront the individual, and those are some of the things that I consider when I decide if I will confront or not. And thankfully, I've not have to confront anybody about a rumor because I don't care what you say about me, and the people that knows me, they know who I am.
They know best.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I think years now being in the public's eye, you choose your battles. If it's a friend or a family member, I think it's something that definitely needs to be addressed because you should know me. You should never be spreading false information about me. Or if you heard something about me and you think it's truthful, then you could address it before you spread that information. But as it pertains to people, the general public, there's a few times that I have caved in where I will address it, but for the most part, it's not important. I feel that people, when you are moving forward, they choose that moment to really bring you down, and you have to know and you have to recognize what people are doing to you. So I definitely don't try to address anything in the general public, because it no matter if I said and also they want to say you lie, that's so because I see you. Then you have never met these people in your life, but they know your life more than you, so it's not worth it.
Right.
Yeah, I just have to say kudos to Shane, because I know that politicians often get the hardest end of the stick, the dirtiest end of the stick when it comes to gossip and rumors. I don't know how to do it.
Any politically exposed person actually
get
Yeah, because I have also, sadly, I remember when I first got appointed as CARICOM Youth Ambassador, the youth department made a post and somebody made a whole fake post about my sexuality and what I did to get my post because of political affiliation. I'm like, okay, so I am not competent enough to have a post or a position in society. Like, I have proven myself. So why is it that we continuously spread gossip about people because you maybe don't like them or they are politically affiliated? I can be politically affiliated, but that does not mean that is my perspective on life or on politics or on anything.
Doesn't mean that that's your platform.
Absolutely. I am my own person. I have my own thoughts, you know. So it's very sad that people take that opportunity to really bring you down in public, but you have to be strong.
You know, I want to listen. I want to hear what's the information that's out there about me.
Yeah.
And I want to measure for myself.
Do you really want to know?
Well,
Sometimes
you know,
I really don't want to.
I have never been the subject of a serious scandal.
Right, we're on the same page there. And they're like, we split in half, right? Yeah, because you two are politically exposed persons, so you don't have to wear on the armor towards these things. I mean, from a mental health perspective, of course. Yeah. No, me, no getting no kind of mix up. End quote. So when things would have pop up about me on the rare occasion that they do, I'm curious.
What's out there?
I drink water and mind my business or wine, whatever it is.
Yeah, and if it's a lie, I won't bother addressing it. But if there is some truth to it, now I want to see how I could address it, who I could address, who I could talk to, how we could bring some clarity to the situation. If I made a mistake, if I did something out there and we need to talk about it, make we talk about it. Because I need to run away from anything. I need to try to live two lives per se, where all right, this is one Paul and that the next Paul. This is Paul, and I try as best as possible to show who I am out there to everybody.
Exactly.
So like you mentioned it before because it's happened to you basically on social media.
Oh, multiple times.
It happens to me a lot on social media as well. So as we use these platforms, right? This is a platform of communication. This is how we communicate. How do you feel like when we talked about it back in the day? We never have social media, and so like that just street panicana.
Wally Bird say.
Right, Wally Bird said. What about the ramifications of something that never goes away? They want to always Google you, right? So this young lady posts this thing online, forever and ever, amen. If anybody feel like she is 50 years old, and somebody could Google crack talk. Right? And she will pop up.
The internet is forever.
But not only that, some gossips, like we saying at the intro, based on facts. So some things are factual. The video is out there.
If you don't like it, then you need to be cognizant of what
you post.
Yeah,
exactly.
So, but
you have to be cognizant of it, and there are consequences. Well, a lot of people believe that they have freedom of speech. That is a lie. Because even from a human rights perspective, your rights end where my nose begins. So you can never say that, oh, my social media could do what I want. No, boo. You can't. Legally, you can't. There's this wonderful word called libel. If you don't know it, you'll find out soon enough. You have to be careful what you put out there. Because as an employer, as somebody who used to do recruitment, and we get new applicants, me and my boss just sit down and give me that resume. Where am I going to look for you first?
Social media.
Facebook, Instagram. I want somebody to put out there. And that's where the discard pile began. I have been penalized before for some of the things that I have said on social media. I have lost jobs because I declared a political affiliation or just a hint of a political affiliation on social media. You have to be careful what you put out there. Unless you decide to be that free agent, the man on the island, where you really don't have to get nothing from nobody in the society, that is the only way you could truly, really be free. And even then, there are restrictions to that. So unless you're willing to deal with the consequences, then you start filter your stuff.
Who creates the consequences?
Society creates the consequences. Society has always been the determining factor for consequences.
Absolutely.
Unfortunately.
It's unfair.
Unfortunately.
But that's reality.
That's the way society works, my darling.
And the sad
Tina
thing-
Herbert and Grove.
And the sad thing, like what you said, Drea, is it never goes away. And people put things about you on social media, no matter what you do.
Right.
That will always be there. Like people, like you will see some fake profiles added to buy and sell and use buy
Yeah,
and sell
terrible.
platform.
That's right.
And you're like, who the f that believes you're a superstar? When they put things on you and you have no weapon to fight against false information about yourself.
Right.
And that will always be there.
Correct.
And it's very unfortunate, and I hope they pass laws that can fight these things.
Did they not?
I think they did. They
But
did.
who
The
is
cyberbullying.
enforcing? Because we have all these laws
But
and then nobody
but
enforces.
what laws get enforced regardless?
That's what I'm
people die
saying.
every day.
We ha-
How many people actually get convicted and sentenced for murder? So if we can't even put
We not worry about no kind of
murderers
right.
back at jail
What about
for the rest of their
social
life,
media?
you think they worry about the scandalous girl on Facebook. This girl bred me end up in somebody's stories.
And,
Please.
And it's sad to say, we might not have real enforcement until somebody gets hurt.
Right.
All right, so how about this? We don't have any reins when it comes to social media, but as people in the media, we do have to fact check. In fact, isn't it a journalist's oath to make sure that whatever information is said is factual and has you on need on receipts by law,
In
right?
a perfect world, no?
Right.
Right.
So my question is this: what are your thoughts on the way political news is disseminated from different media houses? Because we have that problem here in Belize where we have a news station with a red, one news station with a blue, and then the news station they will pick up whatever and then just halabaloo.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
Alright.
more specifically, where do we stand as consumers of this information? Do we really and truly believe what is put out? Or do we pick and choose subjectively
I think we
as
pick
to
and
what
choose
benefits
based on the
us?
person.
I start filtering out who I get my news from, my local news. And to be very honest, it's only Love FM at this point. Because I think the only day attempt was sliver of an attempt to try,
You did laugh.
was sliver of an attempt to try. But
Drinks
if I see
wine.
something pop up on Guardian, that I'm gonna listen to that there. If I see something pop up on Channel 5, with grain of salt, creme, questionable. Very questionable. Even some of the online media houses are like,
No, I think people just, today I want to open a page and I want to just get the news and I want to post it. I think we need to have something set in place also where we're allowing a set or a group of people who have credentials to give that information to the general public because
who, Jen, who?
She said
they don't have like
owl. She said put.
Everybody have a
I'm
price
not
in at this.
professional in
Everybody
media,
have a
but-
price in at this media business. One of my first jobs that me as a regular behind the scenes person in a media. I saw more lawsuits hit my company than anything. I didn't even know that one reporter could have get that many lawsuits and still keep a job.
So since you both have knowledge of media, isn't there like a organization responsible for
Fact-checking?
these? Yeah, for fact.
I don't know that there is an organization responsible. There's an
The
association.
Belize Broadcasting.
Yeah, but they don't
Association.
fact check.
But I don't
They don't fact
know
check.
that they do that.
What do they do?
Safe
So
and
everybody has
confidential.
their agenda. Everybody has their agenda. The political
Everybody
media
got price.
houses has their agenda. But the mainstream media are supposed to be the guardians of truth. You know, the ones that are
Right.
not politically affiliated. But what happens now is the mainstream media has turned it into a political football. So it's now infotainment.
Right.
So it's not about truth, it's about,
It's about
who says it
clickbait.
best.
It's
yes,
about
and
who
what
gets the
will be-
most views and who tell the story
Who owns-
better.
You know-
who owns these media entities?
I don't want to dismiss or downplay the responsibility I understand I have. Many times I sit down and I said to myself, the information have to pass through me first
Right.
before it get out there to anybody else. Technically, some information because
You
you have
are the
social
filter.
media, but I'm technically the filter through whom the information goes. You have a huge population when you follow news on social media.
Right.
Well, wait till 6 o'clock, 6:30 for listen to the
Bless their
news.
souls.
So I don't downplay that, and I believe that newsrooms also have independent people we understand their role, we understand their responsibility, and remains neutral. Because when we talk about reporters and stuff like that, outside of politics, there's other stories we do.
I love your disclaimer on that. It's like I'll take it as a disclaimer.
No, outside of
Paul
politics,
saying
there's other
that
stories we
he
do,
is- and
encouraging.
I believe so too.
Yeah.
And not
So
because they are.
I just want to say,
I believe you remain neutral.
I just want to say kudos to all the reporters
Yes, you.
who are guardians of information per se, who takes their work
still take
seriously.
their
Their,
Yeah.
That who takes their work
integrity,
seriously.
their integrity,
matters
it
more.
remains-
It's not all you know.
Intact, and I got respect for the far and few I know. I got
Right.
respect for that.
Well, on that
100%.
note of respect, let's hold on to that thought because we have to take our first break. This is Taboo Talks, and we'll be right back.
Warning: the following contains content intended for older audiences and may contain strong language. Viewer discretion is advised.
Welcome back to Taboo Talks. I am your host, Drea. If Dana saw, Daniel saw. We are discussing gossip and political propaganda this evening. Before the break, we were discussing the role of the media in disseminating false information. And our good friend Paul here was basically giving us like some insider information, right? And I want to continue that question because you are the media personality here right now. I'm sorry, darling. You know, you were picked to be here for a reason.
Because hard questions.
See?
All right, so this is a $1 million question.
It is? Is it?
Yes.
Okay.
And I feel like I have my opinion, but I want to hear your opinion. Do we have real or actual journalists in Belize?
Ooh.
I mean, I think you have to start by, I guess, seek to determine or
It's being
define
political.
what a journalist is, because
You know,
there's
they do
no
that press
there's
conference, I get
a
shunned.
there's a lot of work involved. There's a lot of different areas you could do investigative journalism. Like we in Belize, we don't do a lot of investigative journalism. That takes time.
Yeah.
That takes resources that we're not at the place where we're able to invest that sort of time and resources to just have a journalist go off for 2 weeks, go off for a month to go and investigate a story. That's where we're lacking. And sometimes because we're lacking that, we get accused of disseminating false information. Because why wouldn't you go out and spend more time on your stories? The truth is,
You
there's a
don't have
time
time.
constraint
Right.
in the newsroom. And so what we do as journalists in Belize, we spend the day writing short stories. We spend the day writing stories that are shorter. We spend the day doing things that don't necessarily require a lot of investigating. You could gather information. Now, there are times when you follow a story along the way and every day you say something on it. Do we have real journalists in Belize? I have to say yes.
Of course.
I can't say
I have
no.
this question for you because like we watch press conferences and these televised events, and sometimes it feels as though there's no kind of preparation. And I know because I've been in those situations where I have to I have this mic and I have no idea what it is I'm supposed to say, but I just supposed to stand there and be pretty and read something that I don't know I'm supposed to be
That
reading.
it's ill. Definitely, it's ill preparation. You have to
You
say
think that's a cultural
what
thing?
it is. I don't know that it's a cultural thing. You just have some people who are lazy. I think you find that in our workplaces.
Isn't laziness a
No.
cultural thing at this point?
Right,
Yeah.
because honestly, as a journalist, as a reporter, if you're doing this work day by day, you're gathering information, you're storing information. You're not like one repository for information. You're not a repository for what's happening in your nation, and you're able to stand out there. Sometimes you just take a seat and you pick your own brain and you figure it out. A lot of times, our journalists don't do that. We just go out there and we just try to wing it.
But so who is responsible for raising that bar? Is it the consumer or is it the journalist that's job?
Or the people who hire them.
Definitely,
Well,
definitely the
people who
or
journalist.
hire
the
No.
production company?
I would say it's the advertisers If the
Oh,
who
see
the advertisers
there? What?
choose
Why
to,
you never win? You may win city council?
I should.
You shall me win through?
Who the advertisers
Why?
choose to fund are the ones who who establish the bar. So if you send your ads to a media house that doesn't require high quality, the standard will be set low. So all the rest will.
Well,
will give.
But the
would
reality
want to,
of that-
I would want to say this first, though. That is a double-edged sword because if somebody they fund you, they own you.
Hello.
No,
No. I was just about to say. Because look at the difference in the media houses and ads that run where and ads that don't run where. And for years, certain ads for certain companies going to run past certain media houses.
It's
I
kind of
think-
different now, though.
I was just about to say recently it's changed. But when you have certain media houses that are owned by big entities who also own other big entities where they invest millions in that advertising, pretty much just to move the dollars wrong in their bank accounts. So my son, they pay my daughter, that type of crap. You could do whatever. It don't matter because that you own anything anyways. It's a monopoly that we don't talk about.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
But what I'm saying is, if
get what
I
you're
am
saying.
someone who wants to start a media house, especially with Facebook, you could start a media house today.
I mean,
As-
breaking,
as
breaking
I
news
did
did it
say that.
themselves.
I
Like
did
they
say
did it
that right
themselves.
now.
and you
Say, "Oh,
see
I
that,
want-"
and you see that advertisers are paying money for a garbage site,
All you need to do,
All you need to do
have
is-
is engagement and viewership.
Because
and viewership comes from garbage. People like nonsense.
Yeah.
people love basura, as simple as that. And when you are on, like, wow, these new media houses that are popping up online, and I've seen some of their marketing proposals, they're presenting to potential advertisers their engagements. And that's the bottom line.
Yes.
That's all that matters. Even with the companies what I own, when I want sponsorship, I have to show them what are my social
Yes.
media insights, all of these engagements and things like that. And at the bottom line, that the all they want know. They want know that people will look upon you and you could gain X amount of viewership and
Yeah.
following. That is what we care about.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's where the problem
The
comes
hype.
in.
We care about hype. That's another thing that comes with gossip. Belize have a tendency to blow hot hair into shit
Yeah.
and make it into nothing.
Yeah.
I watch people come up overnight into being Miss Girl
Yeah.
or that dude. And I like, how the f that happened? when the f am I there?
Yeah.
When this shit is, what? But engagement
Yeah.
and entertainment.
Yeah.
That's all we care about. Do we care about substance?
Nope.
If we cared about substance, then some media houses might get shut the down a long time.
So, okay, so then it's really us as the consumer that's accountable for what we choose to consume.
Yeah.
Right.
And when you really think about it, I am guilty of clicking on the thing that say so and so to so and so.
Yeah. That's
Or
it.
big explosion.
Yeah.
Or you
Exactly.
know, when I ever watch like whether Channel or CNN when like hurricane they come and they start to holler about how Belize has been devastated.
Yeah.
Them time they like that just water.
Yeah.
That just water coming in your house.
Selling a story.
Right?
The sensationalism behind
Right.
it.
Right.
And I
Correct.
think that there has been so much discourse about how media houses present even just basic murders, how you create one narrative with it. And I've been in cases where murders have taken the back seat to political propaganda. Like somebody just get killed, but the first story the news run that may some crap involving a scandal with their opponent,
Yeah.
technically
Yeah.
speaking. So that really what that shock value is and what you consider to be more interesting than the other.
Well, you know, because like we said earlier, gossip has become so prominent because of social media. The question we have to ask ourselves on this side, the person that's the side of disseminating the information, is how much of the gossip do we want to feed into? What
Exactly.
do we want to feed into to carry out there? Because the truth is, every day when you go to your desk, you will find gossip. You will find things where you could run with, and you just have to dismiss those things and say, this is not worth your time, this is not worth news coverage.
For me as a consumer, I will watch everything. You post it, I will watch it. I know a ghost follower and I like it. I know, but I will not share it. That is my own personal code with it. If nudes hit my inbox, I will not share it. I might ask for it if I like they would have gone. But I know a bit of the person responsible for why one not a chain or one not a branch
Yeah.
of this thing gone out of hand. So you have to tell yourself how involved do you want to be. I'm a very inquisitive person. I like knowing. So regardless, I want to know what happened. But the buck stopped with me in what I was share using my platform.
No, some.
But what if everyone was like you? The information is still getting out there. Because I might say, you know what, I just want to know because I want to know what's happening in Belize.
And then you say you're not
but then
share,
she
but then
could
your
say
best
the
friend will be
same
like,
thing.
well, you didn't watch, yeah, watch it, but not share it. But not share it.
Right.
And you still end up to share it.
I mean, I know a sinner. I know a sinner. I mean,
you want to show it by your phone.
not touch my phone neither.
Yeah.
Just watch.
All right, so like I want to take this now, going back to political propaganda and the word propaganda, which is essentially manipulation of communication,
That's
right?
it.
So when voting time come, right? When election time come, you want to say, this message is
A paid political
This is a
announcement.
paid political
announcement.
announcement. No. Do you feel like your country area rep?
You sure I know you voice that thing?
Actually,
Your
not me.
song. That you?
It's actually me.
Oh, there you go.
Do you feel ignored by so and so and so? This one, so and so will not do that to you. And then so it's a thing where you use the beating down of someone else in order to climb up. And that goes back to our next saying that we have, crab in a barrel mentality. Right?
Yeah.
So I want to ask that question, like, why are we so fixated on bringing down other people in order for us to be better? Because that's what it looks like to me.
Because we hate ourselves.
It's based on your own morals, your own values, your character.
Somebody
As an
of good
individual.
moral standing would never.
Right.
They would never
Yeah.
get in that ball game there at all.
Wait, what ball game?
Of tearing down
Somebody
somebody else.
just to
You
look
tear
good.
down somebody so you could stand upon their dead body and you
Right.
know you're the biggest person in the room. And I see that tea in a tea.
Yeah.
And that's some of the most prominent political individuals on both sides of the river.
When you see the House of Rep the other day?
Oh.
Yeah.
To
Was
me,
there-
the House of Rep the other day looks like an episode of Housewives. Like when I watched that, I was like,
But
What?
but do you sit there and allow somebody to bark at you and to tell you all of these things that you know are not true or maybe true? Do you defend yourself or do you sit there and allow the general public to say, oh, that is the truth? You know?
More often than not, they get on their soapbox and they got something to say. And I like that you bring up House of Representatives because if you look at other former British colonies, that is same shit show in everybody House of Representatives. Even in Britain's House of Representatives, Australia's House of Representatives, that was shit show of epic proportions. So we're literally still emulating what we've been taught.
Right.
so listen, right? I want to ask you because you're not quiet right now because I think you
Give us
you're
some.
the politician. So listen, right? So the other day I was watching House of Rep and I'm watching these grown men basically your paddies, your mother this, your father, like it's literally like I said, like a reality show like Jersey Shore, like housewives of somewhere ghetto.
Atlanta.
So girl, I want to go live in Atlanta for you. But so my question is this. We ironically name these people or like give these people a title of honorable. And it is the most ridiculous thing I could think of because we're essentially giving a position to someone that is supposed to be, you know, a straight and our position. They represent the people behind them. Yet they are the prime example of crab in a barrel mentality, right? They're the prime example of I want my mandate, I want my manifesto, I want my agenda to come ahead because your one not as important as mine. As a politician, do you see a need for maybe screening who can be a politician and not?
Definitely not. Definitely not.
Definitely not.
Wait.
Listen,
Wait,
I'm
let
gonna
me
let
say
you
this.
finish. I'm gonna let you finish.
Rhea.
But just so you know, my gun is loaded. So
What
I asked this
is the
question on
title?
purpose.
What is the title of somebody who is elected to the House of Representatives?
I don't know.
They are an area representative.
I still feel
now,
like they
if
represent.
I represent my area, and this is how we roll in my area. If I'm from Queen Square, and somebody says something about me
So
in
that
the
mean no
House
show
of
up.
Representative, I will respond likewise. If I go back,
So like gang. So like
no,
gang,
it's not like gang. The people
Bear
elect you,
Bear
you an image of your people.
Bear out of Baka Port. Out of Baka Port. I grew up, born and raised a port for 28 years of my life. I have sat in rooms with people who make more money than I would ever say what day in my life. I gone to school with their kids. Not one day anybody in their room may know either from Baka Port because I never had to conduct myself like no ruffian to make nobody pay attention to me. So you to tell me that disparaging display in the House of Representatives are a reflection because
Of the people.
I had the area rep for mess up.
No, I'm not saying
I
that.
had the area rep
I'm
for
not
color.
saying that.
So I have full range. It may sound like I said I have full range to be what jackass.
And they said them is that they are
You
a
have to defend
reflection.
yourself.
They are a reflection of the people. So
How is that any different from you saying, so you're telling me that if I me registered in one of their areas there, that because he reflect the people, me coming from those neighborhoods, those disenfranchised neighborhoods on the south side where they basically store black people because they never want to cross the bridge. That means I have to conduct myself like a hooligan, like a ruffian.
I'm not saying
You think that their people not worthy of proper representation?
I know they say that. I know they say that.
Yeah, but you just said that they are a reflection of
what
that.
is proper
Real and come
representation?
again.
No, but
Real and come again.
Let me listen to me. You're an ear representative.
So that means-
what the wait, man?
As an area representative,
What the proper
you
representation?
represent the people of that area, yes, to rally for their interests, their development, their progress. And by extension, the progress of Belize. That don't mean go on like a jackass.
I'm not saying that, but we are talking about screening people. We
And
are
that's
talking
why you
about
should screen
But
them.
no.
That's why you should screen
We are
them.
talking about
Because not
screening.
everybody, if we never make our political system into a popularity contest, and we had to actually put people when we worthy, it may be an empty house, especially on the
But
side we only got 5 people.
To the benefit-
Let's
It may be
let
an
me
empty
get to that
house.
point.
Let's have
We
him
are
get
talking
his
about
point in.
screening people.
That's why you should screen them.
No, an area representative is the best person who could represent the area, knows their needs, and will deliver goods and services that they need.
Hence, they should
No.
live there, right?
No, what?
That's why who know the needs of the area
More
rather
than
than
somebody that
the
lives
person
there.
will live there.
I mean, she has a point.
Yes.
No, I-
That's
I-
the point.
last time
that
I
should be a
checked-
filter. Like
But-
if you
Last time
if you run for sure, if you run Meso, if you should live there.
Actually, that is
Yes,
one. That is
but-
one.
but,
And
Drea-
how much are
But
they-
that comes
how
in
much are they-
screening.
That
how much
is
are they-
the screening.
Yeah, but
But
how much
no,
are they
it
registered
comes-
the houses where they don't live?
Wait, man, but now make it go all over the place. We could talk about the screening.
Sure.
The question is about
okay.
screening.
We're gonna stay on the point that you're trying to
The
make.
question is about screening. If we
No
should or we
problem.
should not screen. We definitely should not screen anybody who lives in that area and knows their people should be qualified to run and represent them as an area representative.
Big
disagree.
bullshit.
I
Because
disagree.
you are not just what air representative at that point. You become a representative of this country.
Absolutely.
Worthy enough to step out into any
no, this will lead with
diplomatic
our
climate.
elitist
Is
type
it?
of mindset.
No.
What will the screening
because
be?
for
Okay, all
example,
right. Make I ask a question?
What will the
Make I ask a
screening
question
be?
before? Oh no. Listen, wanna drink some more wine. Wanna drink some more wine.
No,
wanna
wait,
drink some
but
more.
can I say
Wanna drink
this?
some more.
You came from the south side,
Yes.
but you carry yourself respectfully in any setting, and you would never know, unlike them said, she comes from the south side, but she's able to engage in conversation with anybody, elitist down to, I know, I know I said the people
I
that
just want
live in
add-
the
From
ghetto.
the common Joe
Right, the
to
common
CEO.
person. But I also feel that you should be able to assert yourself, and you should be able to have certain qualifications to even represent a country. It's not about just the people, but the country, because we don't want to be embarrassed out there. You send these same leaders, they don't know how to engage in conversations. They don't have the knowledge, and that's embarrassing.
They can't speak on behalf of
Right,
Belize.
on the people.
Then Belize sit on so many different organizations. That's one of the beauties.
Absolutely.
So you all are talking about screening
Screening.
executive level position, not an
No.
area.
No.
Screening
First
your-
of all, you screw the word elitism around, and let me tell you something, that elitism bullshit have nothing to do with what we talk about. Because you could be what elite in
your
society.
Your competency, just screening that you're able to do the job.
Elitism and being competent, that two different things. I am not an elite person, but guess what?
But you're competent.
I am competent, I am educated, I am capable. I could walk into a room and I could hold my own. Nobody ever looked at them with Williams and said, hey, that bitch stupid.
All right, but that's let's say that's an intellectual criteria. Now, what about the position where you really are put in, and this is a humanistic position?
This, I think,
like,
this is the point he was trying to say.
You are representing
of their character.
people.
Right.
You are representing people,
Yeah.
which means that their well-being is at heart for you always.
Right.
That's where the honor comes in, right?
Right.
So we have a lot of people that are competent, that are intelligent, that are educated, etc.
Right.
That have their own personal agendas.
Absolutely.
And will use the platform of representing people in order to gain their like individualistic agenda.
Which kind of has been what's been perpetuated.
So now, what kind of criteria should we really be giving people, right?
I think a well-rounded
One, representation
individual.
of the people. Two, competency, of course.
Holistically, you
All right.
want someone where they can empathize with the people,
Right.
yes, but they are capable and competent as well. I want to feel secure to know that my leader will get my message across in the right way to the right people, and again, not embarrass me.
And have firm moral standing.
Assertive.
Because if my leaders morals that all over the place, you can't properly represent the needs of this country.
Yeah.
If your morals are all over the place. So I want to know, how do you feel about women? How do you feel about the safety of women? How do you feel about speaking up against abuse of women and children by an extension? How you live your life, Pantapada, in relation to that? Unfortunately, our society might say, I shouldn't have to dig into nobody's private life, but what you do behind closed doors also affect what you do in the forefront. Unfortunately, that's
because
the
you
case.
represent your
so
life. Yeah,
how could you say you represent anything on the south side specifically? I will always talk for south side because that's where I'm from. And we have more women living on south side. So coming from the south side, how could you say that you truly represent your demographic when you obviously no respect 60% of your constituents?
All right. That actually takes me to another question right now, babes.
Go ahead.
That takes me to the question then of now, we were talking about a holistic, right, view of if somebody is worthy of being a leader, right? Okay, so now this takes me to, does that mean that that political propaganda is a positive thing or something that is necessary? Because
I like
and make I finish the thought, in these infomercials or these paid for commercials, well, so and so beat so and so no pay bills, so and so is an ex-convict, so and so, right? So like it airs something out that otherwise people wouldn't necessarily know, right? So this is the only situation where I say like, okay, so let me just air out and let me tell you who this person is. Now, should that come from the opponent?
No.
Should that come from the people?
No, because at that point,
should that come from the media,
at that point,
real sources?
At that point, when it comes from your opponent, that's where the message gets lost in the sauce. And I would really appreciate sometimes if when people get caught with their hand in the cookie jar, if their opposing factor would have just sit and shut the f***. Because you not help the issue. You are take it and you are swindle it and you are put your lead bow on it, and then it becomes political propaganda at that point. But if we had tried and true journalism, we actually care about the facts and we could actually flesh these things out. Yeah. But these issues pop up and then these other media entities or politically affiliated start they have the resources for control the narrative and drawing it out, and then nothing gets done. So, I mean, not to shy away from it, the former leader opposition may involved in our domestic dispute. If it not happen, neither here nor there at this point, right?
The current leader of oppositions has been involved in domestic disputes.
Thank you. Right. So, and what end up to happen right there? For their opponents end up to get in there, and they dissect and trisect and all kind of shit to it. That by the time the story could have actually some good could have come out of that story. Right. At that point, it has become political meatloaf. Yeah. If they may just take a step back and make proper entities flesh it out. Investigative journalism. I mean, as much as people may have said the police shouldn't have leaked out the report, I was very glad that they leaked that report, because I think that I'm in some sense of, you know what, make I put the truth out there, because is it political propaganda at that point if you'd show me her own words? I'm not saying it was right. I'm saying that I personally was glad that they did it, because that allowed me to say the actual police report, to which if you've ever given a police report, you know that the police is trying their best to put in verbatim the information that you are giving them. Right. So that's information that was provided to the officer doing the report at the time. You can't alter it because you have to sign off that this is what you said.
Yeah.
That was the only truth in that whole shit. And then on top of that, you have two narcissistic men get on television and think that they will dissect the situation without the afflicted person's involvement.
Right.
The story gone to RASS before any good could come out of it, because people want to try to control the political narrative of something.
All right. I was just going to say, I think political propaganda from the opposition is distasteful. In my opinion, it just fuels the fire of gossip. It fuels the fire this cat fight where Belizeans, like it fuels the divide where we now want to say, one, you can't put the responsibility for moral responsibility on the media for what these politicians do or don't do. They have a responsibility in and of themselves to stand on a moral footing. They have that responsibility, nobody else. When the people elected them, when the people voted for them, they committed to that.
Right.
And you can't discredit a community's ability to elect their leader. If you say we have to go through all these screening, for example, if you say we have to go through all these screenings, where I think there's a balance as well, because at the end of the day, it's the people that will decide.
But are the people deciding?
But this is the
well,
thing.
but what are we going to say?
We can't electing these people. Are they?
That's another.
Are we going to be naive?
But this is the thing. I think that there
Yeah,
is, if I can say, there's a disconnection with what is true and what agendas are. And I feel like, and I can say this as a personal opinion, as I feel like it's very much true. It's actually the media that's supposed to hold that power. It's actually investigative journalists that hold that power.
Hold them responsible.
To say that's not
accountability.
true, this not true. It's kind of in the middle. I will give you guys what it is, but I feel like we are lacking because the truth of the matter is that our media is biased because they are funded by specific political parties.
And you do work for one of those.
I don't know that. I don't know that.
I mean, I don't say that.
I don't know that there is.
I got friends.
I don't know that there is one media house in Belize that won't salivate over a juicy gossip. Whether it's somebody you claim I'm affiliated with or somebody in the opposition. We want a story. Give me the story, regardless of who it is, and we find a way to make it work. But you also can look over, dismiss the fact that in government, where information is supposed to be public, people protect the information. Parties protect the information. A lot of the information that the media wants, in fact, a lot of information that NGOs want, they can't get. So you send the media, but there's NGOs that want and need information and have to kind of request that information under the Freedom of Information Act. It's hard, you know. It's hard playing politics in media, and it's hard to get information. I'll say that much. And sometimes you have to butter people's hand. I'm not saying I do that. I'm not saying.
No, but
I'm not saying
that's the reality of the situation.
House I work
As
at
I've said,
does that.
People have prices, and in government they love loaded up with their cronies, regardless. And that's why after every election, I call it the mass exodus, because I need to get your cronies out. I need to put mine in, because these are your people.
To be fair to Paul, the traditional media was the guardian of truth. But what happened is social media came and
Oh, you
their
think what
power.
social media is for?
You
It's
think
just
the
because
traditional
they
media
do not
with gardens are the truth?
they do not have the resources to keep up with all the lies that are put out there on a daily basis. So they cannot keep up fact checking with all that is put out there. So there were when we were depending on Channel 5 and Channel 7 to get your propaganda out. Nobody depends on Channel 5 and Channel 7 anymore to get your propaganda. So they are playing keep up.
But important to note, let's not fully blame social media, you know, because my mom is very good at archiving newspapers from way back when, and we have been going at political parties have been going at each other through then these stupid cartoons for years.
Oh, yes, I remember those were fun.
Yeah,
Those are fun
it's
indeed.
fun until like your pa did it with pan, right? It wasn't really funny. I'm just saying, you know. I grew up in a politically exposed family, and every now and again, Wally Guardian would have dropped on the table, and I'm like, well, damn, I hate that I learned to read now. You know, so we pretty much just take the existing culture and we've digitized it.
We made it fast-paced.
We made it fast-paced. All we do that increased the pace in which it distributed and made it free.
Well, on that note, guys, let's take another break. We'll be right back. Stay tuned because it hot. I feel like I need to hide the wine now because
Yes.
we'll be right back.
Warning: the following contains content intended for older audiences and may contain strong language. Viewer discretion is advised.
Welcome back to the Blue Talks. I am Drea Renault. This evening we have been having a deep discussion about Belize's gossip culture and how it spreads into political propaganda. Unfortunately, our time is almost up. So let me go around and get some final thoughts from each of you, specifically on how we can take personal accountability when it comes to gossip and rumors, when it comes to our place in society, when it comes to how we choose our leaders and what we expect from them. Let me go across the room. Start it you, because I feel like they attack you to them, boy.
I'm used to it. Well, first of all, don't share gossip that hurts people. That's the least you can do. You know, that's the least we can agree to as human beings. If gossip will be damaging to a person or their family, let us not share it. And in terms of how the type of leaders we want to elect, we want to ensure that leaders we elect reflect our families, our family values. That is the most important thing, and that is the only screening we should do as people who are looking for what type of leaders we want. We want leaders who represent our family values, we want leaders who will make our communities proud, and we want leaders who our children can look up to. And those are the main points that I want to leave you all with.
Thank you, darling. I want to skip you for now. We're going over. You
Like Shane said, you know, be mindful of the information that you put out there about people, especially if you do not know that individual personally. And be mindful for yourself, because how would you feel if someone did that to you? You know, in terms of politics, you know, I am an aspiring woman that want to be in politics, and I think it's important for myself, for anybody who's interested, to carry themselves appropriately, you know. So I do believe that you should have some sort of standard, because at the end of the day, you represent not only yourself, but you represent people who look up to you every single day to get across information or how they feel about certain issues happening in the country. And they put faith in you and trust in you and hope that whatever they are longing for gets resolved in a society that they live their entire lifetime, or in a country that we are not moving forward fast enough, you know. And so I want to encourage people to, when it comes to politics, look at your leaders as someone that you want to see represent your country to the best that they can, and try to figure out the truth from the fake news when it comes to your leaders, because sometimes the opposition, red or blue, they just want to tear down that individual, you know? And it is your job, your responsibility as a voter to figure out fact from fiction.
I think, one, there's no need for you to weaponize information. I've been saying this from the start. There's no need, if you assess the information, if you look at it critically and say, you know what, this is now a weapon, there's no need for you to take that weapon and carry it on to continue hurting the person that this information is already hurting, just to, as I think, look at yourself at a higher level, just for you to build your own ego, self-righteous, as I would put it. You're good enough. You're valuable. You're worth enough. You don't need to diminish or degrade somebody to feel better about yourself. And so I think that's where the personal responsibility comes. When you see something is a weapon, decide, I will not use this weapon. We don't like wars. We don't like Russia invading Ukraine, but yet we invade other people. So we are just as guilty as Russia. We are Russians, if you ask me, the type of climate that we have in Belize. So don't continue the weaponizing information, one, and then two, like my good friend said over here, fact checked. Check your information, ensure that what is being said is the truth, because you want to make sure that your credibility, you don't lose your credibility by disseminating false information, because the next time you say something, nobody want to hear what you got to say. Nobody want to listen to you, because they say, the last time he tell a lie.
Yeah.
And I found out it was a lie. So they just run with things. So one, clout chasing. We got a lot of clout chasers in Belize. We just want attention and ride wave. And that's how they use the weaponized information. And two, fact check.
Right.
I think it boils down to morality.
Yeah.
And morality it's a bit subjective, but I think that having good moral standings dictates what you put out and also what you consume. It dictates what you stand for and who you align yourself with. And I think that I like that you bring up clout chasing, because you have to be very careful whose clout you're chasing, who's standing behind you and who you're standing behind. And to paraphrase something when my mom always told me, birds of a feather flock together. If you hang with trash, you're that trash by extension. You're sitting in a shit too long, you start smell good. If you have good moral standings, if you could decipher what you want of yourself, your character, what you want what you want the public perceive you, and you don't want to be looked at in a certain light, then you know that you need to look at your alignments. What values have you aligned yourself with? What characteristics you probably need to work on? What people you probably need to get the out of your life in order for you to be the best possible version of yourself. When you've achieved the best possible version of yourself, then you could really start upon a high functioning position, and you will be a better contributor to society.
Absolutely.
Yeah, thank you for that, guys. I think I want to also add the importance of stepping outside of yourself, the importance of knowing that we are accountable for what we say, what we share, and also to know that we've all done it, we're all guilty of it, and that we need, if we indeed want to be better people, if we indeed want progressive change, that comes from within, and that comes from understanding that not everybody shares your own thoughts, not everybody shares your morals, not everybody shares your ideology, and to respect one another in that regard.
And also, none of we wrong, this table squeaky clean.
Nobody.
Nobody.
nipples there out.
Somebody, nobody
All
had a
the time.
Jesus. Make us and I say no holding and none on hand. Nobody squeaky clean. They could dig up something.
There's no
but
such thing as squeaky clean.
Yeah.
Is
Right.
what we need to
Yeah.
we need
Right.
to understand.
So look
there is no
Depending-
such thing.
Depending on your moral standpoint, how dirty are you?
Right.
Well, thank you for that, guys. So everyone at home, remember to fact check. If you can't fact check, if you don't know if that's true or if that's not true, then not spread it, right? That's simple. If you don't know if things don't go so, if you're not sure that it gone that way, shut up. How about that? Viewers, thank you for tuning in, and we hope you enjoyed the discussion. With that, we're signing off for tonight and hope to have you back next Thursday at 9 p.m. on CBTV and on Facebook. And if you want to have a little bit more discussion and you feel like you have something to say, join me on After the Talk on my IG Live right after this. Buenas noches. Good night.
Taboo Talks is sponsored by Vinotopia, Landshark Hard Seltzer, Design Depot, and Travelers Liquors.